I'm sorry, but Jake Paul, in fact, scrap that, I'm not sorry at all. Jake Paul failed miserably. He was unable to knock out a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. And yes, he's no ordinary 58-year-old, but he's still an old man. And I know I joked about it previously saying that he's nearly a pensioner. I know he's not a pensioner, but he's still an old man. Tyson's probably about 30 years past his prime. I remember being a kid, staying up late to watch him fight Lennox Lewis. And even then, he was probably way past his best. Even as a kid, I could see it.
He's got heart. No, you can't take that from him.
Jake was wearing fight shorts that cost $1 million, covered in diamonds, because he said he wanted to shine bright like a diamond. Well, I'm sorry, he shined more like a cloud. Jake Paul had 8 rounds to get him out of there, and he couldn't do it. And this is somebody's granddad. And yes, I do know, I'm aware that I'm being harsh, but Jake keeps calling out the likes of Canelo and saying that he's going to become a world champion. Then he struggles to properly beat up and get out of there a 58-year-old. He can dream on. I am thankful that Jake wasn't able to hurt Mike, or even worse, knock him out, because that would have been devastating. You know, to see a legend of the sport beaten by the likes of Jake Paul would have just been heartbreaking. I would go as far to say he's the most well-known boxer ever, along with Muhammad Ali. He's boxing royalty. And all those people who thought the fight was going to be an exhibition were wrong. Because in that first round, both guys came out swinging, throwing absolute bombs. All the respect went out the window.
Ask all referees do, but Mike Tyson taking punishment.
I can't lie, I hold my hands up. I was also hoping it would be an exhibition for Tyson's benefit, because like I say, I didn't want to see him get hurt. But at the same time, contradicting myself, I was hoping, wishing that it could roll the clock back and knock out Jake Paul. I just thought that would have been amazing. But I'm pretty sure that I'm not alone. I would bet my house on it. I think the majority of people were also hoping the same. Unfortunately, to my disappointment, he came out swinging with that peekaboo style, looking dangerous for 1 round. It's all he could manage. He looked dangerous for that 1 round. I seen glimpses of his former self, but that was it. He went back to the corner and he was finished. You could see that his legs were gone. When he came out in the 2nd round, you could see he had nothing left in the tank. He was in survival mode. Yes, I was disappointed. I wanted Mike Tyson to do the unthinkable. But did I expect better? Of course not. He's 58 years of age. He spent years smoking cannabis and eating mushrooms. What do you expect? In my last video, I said how surprised I was how many so-called boxing experts thought that Mike could roll the clock back. It just doesn't happen. All fighters and athletes have a shelf span. And unfortunately, Mike Tyson is way past his sell-by date. After the 2nd round, Jake came out in the 3rd, realising that Tyson was no longer a threat, and he really went for it and tried to knock Tyson out. Fortunately, Jake wasn't able to get him out of there. He wasn't really seriously hurt at any stage. Yes, Mike was shook, but he wasn't seriously hurt. Iron Mike Tyson, even at 58, with that thick old neck, the shock absorber, can still take a shot. He showed with his experience he knows how to survive. And for that alone, you've got to give him a lot of credit. For putting in the work and getting himself in the best possible shape he could. The problem is at his age, there's a ceiling height of how fit you can get. And unfortunately, father time stops for no man. He did show great head movement. Yes, of course, far from his prime, but you could see that Jake Paul was struggling to hit him clean, and that's why Jake couldn't get him out of there. Roy Jones said exactly the same thing. Despite it being 4 years ago, he said that Tyson is very hard to hit clean, which tells you in his prime how difficult he would have been to hit. And obviously, what a force he was. Jake also said he took it easy on Tyson. He didn't want to hurt him. What a load of rubbish. He tried, but he failed miserably. He's made a career on knocking out all champions, so why would he stop now? He wanted that highlight reel, but he failed. How would I evaluate Jake Paul's performance? Shite. What can I say? I mean, he done the right thing, He stayed away from Tyson early on while he was dangerous. He kept it long using his jab and movement. But at the same time, Tyson's an old man, so how can I give Jake Paul credit? I've been saying it for quite a while now. Jake Paul hasn't improved. His last 2 to 3 fights, he's made no improvement. I would go as far to say he's gone backwards. I did give him credit early on in his career, fighting on such a big stage and having to perform. And early on in his career, he did improve a lot. But since then, I haven't seen much improvement. As your career goes on, people just expect more. They want to see improvements. They want to see tougher challenges. It's just what sport's about. It was always going to be a lose-lose situation in terms of credibility. No matter what the outcome, he was never going to get credit. Not for beating an old man, a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. If he wants credit, the only way that's going to happen if he goes and fights a young, hungry, live opponent. Not fighting old men, old MMA fighters. It's as simple as that. If Tyson had rolled the years back and looked more of a threat, then maybe we could give Jake Paul some credit. But that wasn't the scenario. He beat an old man, a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. So as far as I'm concerned, it was an embarrassing performance. Maybe Jake doesn't care about credibility. Because the guy makes that much money, he probably laughs his way to the bank. And at the end of the day, credibility doesn't pay the bills. But he must care because he has dedicated so much time and effort to boxing, and he's also been a massive part of promoting female boxing, making sure that they get more opportunities and better pay. So surely deep down, he must care about credibility. And maybe he does have a plan, but right now, he's certainly not shown it. Jake's in the perfect position because of the huge fan base he's got to get the fights that'll give him the credibility. It's an easy task. There's plenty of young fighters out there that'll be willing to fight him, myself included. You'll only have to pay me a fraction of what you paid Tyson. I mean, I'll take $1 million. There's so many fighters struggling to get fights. I'm in that position myself, so you'd be doing them a favour. And in the process, you would get yourself some credibility. It's a win-win. Since the fight, Tyson has put a statement out, and he said back in June he almost died. And it makes what he's just done even more amazing. It's a miracle the fact that he's alive and healthy. Never mind getting himself to the point that he can get in a boxing ring. In this fight, there was only one winner, and that was Mike Tyson, the one and only Iron Mike Tyson. Despite being proud of Tyson for being able to compete with Jake Paul, I do hope it's the last time. I hope he's proved to himself what he wanted to prove. And it's mission complete. He's given everybody an opportunity to see him in the ring one last time, but nobody wants to see him get hurt, so I do hope it's the last. I said it earlier, he's boxing royalty. He needs to be protected. What do you think? I would love to know. Did you enjoy the fight? What do you think of Jake Paul's performance? And did you enjoy seeing Iron Mike Tyson back in the ring? Please let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe and go and watch this video next.